So you're looking to see what 300,000 can buy you in Port Saint Lucie, and you're not just looking for a condo or a townhome, you're looking for a single family house. Well, that is exactly what we are going to cover today. Port Saint Lucie so far in 2022 has had an average price of 400,000. So obviously we're looking at a price range that's going to be less than that. So there's going to be fewer houses, which means there's going to be more competition. But since you're watching this video, you're going to be ready. Today I'm going to be using the price range of 285 to 315,000 just to give us a little bit of wiggle room on the price. Now, before we dive into the numbers, zip codes, and amenities, I just wanted to quickly touch on what we're even trying to accomplish in this video. The goal here is to help you with setting expectations and planning for buying a house of $300,000 in Port Saint Lucie. Too often, I feel like buyers, if they don't have proper expectations in place, can end up passing on opportunities and then regretting it later. And I really don't want you to miss out on the right house. So today I want to make sure you have a good idea of what to expect when you are making your wish list for your $300,000 house in Port Saint Lucie. The topics covered in this video are going to be the 2022 market in this price range and what we can gather from that data, what we can expect these houses to look like, where we should be looking to find these houses, and then lastly some tips and takeaways on how to get a house in this price range. Excited? Me too. Let's go. Starting off with the market in 2022, so far through July, we've had 3,284 closed sales in Port Saint Lucie. Of these closed sales, 293 of them were in that $285,000 to $315,000 price range, which is about 9%. And it's also worth mentioning that there was another 300 or an additional 9% of the sales that were below $285,000. But when you get into this price range, you're going to find a lot more fixer-uppers. So in total, let's just say it's 18% were below the $315,000 price range. And that's really not much when you think about just how many people are also looking in this price range. That's why the days on market in this price range in 2022 has only been 13 days. And if you want to use the 28 sales in July that were in this price range, they also only had 13 days on market. So that means you only have 2 weeks to go see a house and make a decision. Having about 2 weeks on market before it's snatched up gives a prepared buyer just enough time to see it and offer. And now I know you may be thinking, well, what about all the cash offers? And I'm glad you asked. So the cash offers in 2022 in this price range only make up about 16% of the closed sales. That means 84% of the houses that are selling in that 285 to 315 price range were financed. So that means we're looking at a pretty even playing field. Now that's not to say that you are not going to offer on a house and get beat out by cash, because obviously 16%, so they are still there, it is still a possibility. It's just not as likely as you would think. Now let's move on to the features of the house and what we can expect these houses to look like. From the data of closed sales, we can see that the average price per square foot in this price range is going to be about $250 per square foot, and the average size of these houses is going to be about 1,200 square feet. These two factors are really going to help you in your planning process for your wish list. Using the averages that I gave you as a starting point, a 1,200 square foot house at $250 per square foot would be $300,000. Now this is going to be a good house with little to no repairs needed. However, at this price and size, this house may not be as fully updated and remodeled as possible. This is going to be a house that you are excited to move into right away, and over time you're going to be able to kind of add your imprint and wow factor and pride of ownership into this house over the years of living there. Now say that house was only about 1,000 square feet and the price per square foot was around that $270, $280 mark. Now you're going to be looking at a more renovated and updated house. And just like on the other side of the spectrum, say this house was about 1,500 square feet and maybe $210 per square foot. Now this house obviously is going to have more space, but it's going to come with more work, more rehabbing, more remodeling, more updating. So now you can start deciding at this part of the planning process how much rehabbing you're willing to take on and what size house do you need. Since we're working with a more fixed price range, you can start looking at the price per square foot and the size of the house on like a sliding scale almost, with the $250 price per square foot and the $1,200 per square foot house being the center, and then kind of figuring out what works for you. Now the houses in this price range will vary in age. However, the majority of these houses were built in the 1970s to 1990s. And this is something that you're going to have to keep in mind in regards to your financing. You may have requirements for your loan. For example, you might need to have a house with a roof that is 10 years old or newer. So this is something to keep in mind if you're looking in this price range, to find out the ages of some of these major appliances to see when they were replaced or if they were replaced at all. How many bed and baths can you expect in this price range? Well, 78% of the houses that sold in this price range had at least 3 bedrooms, and 97% of these houses had at least 2 baths. Lastly, as far as amenities in this price range, there were 84% of these houses were not in an HOA of any kind, mandatory or voluntary. And as far as the pool goes, only about 12% of the 293 closed sales had a pool. So as far as setting expectations go, you're not going to be looking at a house that is in an HOA or has a pool unless you're willing to wait for those really small number of listings to hit the market. Now, before we go over where to find these houses, I wanted to quickly walk you through 2 properties that are active for sale right now that are in this $285 to $315 price range. And we're back. I hope you enjoyed the 2 tours, and now we are going to get into where to find these houses. Now, what if I told you 86% of the closed sales in this price range were only found in 3 of these 6 Port Saint Lucie zip codes, and that 100% of the active listings in this price range were also only in these 3 zip codes? You probably want to spend most of your time looking in these areas, right? Exactly. So the 3 zip codes are 34983, 34952, 34953. The closed sales in 34983 was 74. The closed sales that were in 34952 was 61. And lastly, the closed sales in 34953 were 118. So now that you have narrowed down Port Saint Lucie into zip codes, you can start looking into neighborhoods in this price range that you would like to live in. And now on to the tips and takeaways. Now that you know more about the houses in this price range, you'll be able to create an idea of what your ideal house will consist of and then begin your search. On top of knowing exactly what you're looking for, you should also have a plan for getting your offer accepted, because this is a very competitive price range in Port Saint Lucie, and you may end up offering on multiple houses until you get one accepted. However, you are going to reduce that chance by having all of your ducks in a row. Make sure to have your pre-approval letter ready at all times to send in with every offer, and then also have your best offer in mind before you even start the search. This way, if you fall in love with a house, you know you can offer right away, and you also know if someone outbids your best offer that you're not going to try to compete with them and put yourself in an unfavorable position by offering more than what you can really afford. Next, have your agent and lender both call the listing agent once an offer is submitted. The lender is going to talk with the listing agent and basically reassure their confidence that they know that this loan is going to close if their offer is accepted. And your agent is going to speak with the listing agent just to kind of make sure that, hey, you got my offer, and then to figure out where it stands with all the other offers. I know this may not sound very important, but if all the other offers are about the same, and this is the only agent that reached out to kind of make sure everything was good, this can kind of stick with the listing agent and show that that is a due diligent buyer's agent. And this listing agent is going to mention that to the seller because sellers want an easy close, and if they have a feeling that that buyer's agent will be good to work with, that will give you an advantage over the other offers. So now you know what to expect, where to look, and tips for getting that house in the 300 price range of Port Saint Lucie. So if you are looking to buy in the next year, I would really love to help you find your home. My contact information is in the description below, or you can book directly with me. Also a link in the description below. We can meet at a coffee shop, meet for lunch, at the office, whatever works for you. And also, if you have any other questions, feel free to comment them below. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great day.